Hi, I'm Dandy Reiner from Livingston, Montana. I own Hatchfinder's Fly Shop with my father, Dean Reiner. We're here at the Fly Fishing Federation tying the pink Pookie today. My father, Dean Reiner, is the inventor of this fly. He named it after his dog and best fishing buddy, Pookie. It's a grasshopper variation, and it's by far our biggest seller in the fly shop. It works wherever you see hoppers. And we start off with a Dairiki 320 hook. We tie these in a size 6, 8, and 10. Today I'll be tying it for you in the size 8. And we use a 6/0 thread in the red. And the first thing you want to do is put your pink body on. And we pierce the foam right where the hook point is, where it meets up with the hook shank. To stamp out this little body and the wing, we use the Montana Fly Company Chernobyl tapered set. Comes in a set of 3. They also sell them individually. This is what you use to tie or to stamp out the wings and the bodies. And it's a really good quality set. It stays good and sharp for a long, long time. So we have our body on, the hook, and then we start with a thread base from behind the eye. Bring that thread all the way down to about the bend of the hook. The underbody has 3 segments. There's one segment. We wrap just a little bit further up the hook. And there's our second segment. Again, with a few more wraps up the hook. There's another segment. Bring the thread up to the eye. Cinch it good. Keep the wraps even. And then the last one is the head. So we trim off very carefully all the excess foam. Careful not to snip your thread. And we cinch down the rest of the foam, making a nice clean head, not blocking up the eye. Might take several turns of the thread to get it nice and even and cinched down. Then what I like to do is I like to take just a tiny little drop of Zap-A-Gap. It makes it all that much more stronger and durable because the fish do indeed go after this one. Little tiny drop right on the head. Careful not to get any on the eye. Then I place the wing with the wing pointed out over the eye, right on top, that little drop of super glue. And then I come around with my thread and I tie it in good. Next, we put our elk hair on. And you have a few different choices for the elk hair. You can use a dyed elk hair or a brown. You can also use deer hair. That works just as well. Take a small little pinch and snip it off. Remove any little under hairs. You want the elk hair to be nicely even stacked, so I use my hair stacker. Give it a good few taps and should be all evened up. If you see any broken tips, be sure to take those out. And then I just simply place this right on top of the body. Make sure it's even with the tail, and I tie it in good. And then I come back under the head, right on top of the thread where I had tied. And then I snip off all this excess elk hair. And then I like to put just another little drop of Zap-A-Gap right on top of the head. And then I take my wing and I fold it all the way back. And then I do a few wraps around, and I've got a nice head. The wing is laying even. The next step is the legs. I use Montana Fly centipede legs. I use the medium size. I typically tie the pink Pookie with the yellow speckled legs, but you can play around with the color variations. Red speckled legs work pretty well too. Take a little snippet of centipede legs. I take a little piece of the leg and I lay it right against the body on one side. I come around with my thread and tie it into place. And I do the exact same on the other side with my other leg. Lay it right against the body, come around with my thread. Next, I use a little piece of orange foam for the strike indicator. Strike indicator is optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want it, but I find it helpful. I lay the end of that foam strip right on top, and I come around, tie it in, snip it off, just a tiny little piece of orange foam. And then this is where I tie it off, right in the center of that strike indicator, behind the head, in between the legs. Give it a few turns, a few good knots. And then I cut my thread off. I even up my legs, pull the two front arms forward and snip them off evenly. And then I take the back legs and snip those evenly. I like to leave them just a little bit longer than the body. A little drop of head cement. And there is the famous pink Pookie. You see the underbody is nice and clean. Nice even segments. And this will definitely catch some fish.